The more that they give to those migrants, the more they get the government into the black.
They're pretty much doing nothing, getting all these benefits from Centrelink.
Migrants are taking up the positions.
Fobs, whatever people want to call them, they know how to use the system.
My family lived in Iraq. My cousin got hanged. His brother got hanged as well.
Welcome to Fairfield, also known as Australia's refugee capital. According to mainstream media outlets, Fairfield is also Sydney's poorest suburb, with crime fueling the streets, leaving many locals in fear of their lives. But how true are all of these statements? Is the area really that bad? Today I went onto the streets of Fairfield to investigate Australia's migration crisis that has thousands of Aussies divided all over the country. Alright guys, so we've just arrived in
Fairfield, the poorest town in Sydney.
Thought we'd come down here, interview some locals and provide you guys with some insight into the realities of living in Fairfield. What's Fairfield like to live in?
It's a pretty bad area, to be honest.
Still a lot of poverty, still a lot of homeless and junkies in the area.
It's full of shady, dirty old men.
There's a lot
overloaded by...
Wouldn't be the first place I'd visit.
Junkies.
What's the craziest thing you've seen in Fairfield?
But the craziest thing, guys, was a massive brawl here. A lot of people killed down there.
What happened?
Teenager was fighting with another one and he got...
There's heaps of shit that happens. There's shootouts at the parks, there's everything.
A lot of happened here.
Every night there's motorbikes, fires, bins caught on fire, everything.
What do you do for fun around here?
Fun. Bro, this little money.
You can go get $2 sucky, whatever you want there.
2 seconds later.
As much as the locals may joke about the things that happen around here, I wanted to find out the real reason why Fairfield is so far down on the socio-economic scale. And why do you think Fairfield is known as one of Sydney's poorest areas?
I do think a good chunk of migrants are taking up the positions.
There's a lot of Assyrians here.
It's the laziness. It's coming to Australia thinking you can be handed it and not working for it.
No offense to these people, but I feel like they're the ones that are getting more benefits.
Immigrant, like my mate from Iraq, and I'm not going to say his name, but he knows exactly who he is. He gets $3,500 one fortnight, and his wife gets $4,500.
They prefer to work cash in hand while receiving their Centrelink payments.
People that come here, fobs, whatever people want to call them, they know how to use the system. They've all got NDIS and they've all got their ways around this, and that's because they know people.
A lot of them are not working and then they're pretty much doing nothing, getting all these benefits from Centrelink, driving all these fancy cars.
The more that they give to those migrants, the more they get the government into the black.
And just one more thing, what do you do for work?
I'm not working at the moment.
I don't at the moment.
I don't have a job.
But yeah, the whole situation about the migrants, I'm not entirely sure about that. However, she did say that Fairfield has a very large migrant population. I don't know what happens here. That's interesting what she said about it. She believes that, they're sort of taking advantage of the system. It was clear to me that a lot of the locals around here blamed the migrants for the problems in Fairfield. But was this really a fair judgment, or was this textbook virtue signaling? Alright bro, what's your name?
River, brother.
Where are you from?
I'm Iraq.
Yeah, Iraq.
I'm in Iraq.
Iraqi.
What's Fairfield like to live in?
Well, it's a beautiful city, my friend.
Fairfield, living here is one of the best places. Fairfield is Arabic, English, Chinese, everything. All the help you need is here.
This area is very nice. Nice people, yeah.
Did you know that Fairfield is Sydney's poorest region?
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't heard this before about Fairfield being poorest region.
Poor?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say poor, my friend.
No, it's not poor. We make money. Everybody makes money anyway.
Do you believe that migrants that come to Fairfield or come to Australia may be taking advantage of the system?
Taking advantage? Not really, but it's very hard when you come as a refugee.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get a loan first.
I mean, bro, I lived here 9 years. And I love this country. I've did my best. I'm working here.
Well, people that come from Iraq to Australia, not many people I know that want to leave their countries because of the wars and stuff like that. So we have to all escape and leave. It's not our country at the end of the day, but we just feel like we're more than welcome to this country, and we feel like we treat it like it's our country, you know what I mean? It's more safer. We have 50, 60,000 people here. They moved on after working hard in their life, and then they're buying themselves houses and all that kind of stuff, and they're settling basically. It's Middle Eastern in general, people like Arab people just want to make money. They don't want to spend, you know what I mean? So when their kids are growing up in here, becoming an Aussie. We love everybody. All of us are human beings, all the same, man. We're all the same. Easy, man.
Awesome, bro. Appreciate it, man. Good answer, man. Appreciate it.
It was obvious that these people that have moved to Australia were proud to call this country their home. So I decided to meet up with a man named Bashar, a prominent community leader, to understand why he believes Fairfield migrant population is a benefit to Australia.
What do you say to those Australians that believe migrants get more government assistance than locals?
Well, it's normal. Fairfield is the place where new migrants and refugees and emerging communities come to learn how to settle in Australia. Those people will be relying on some benefits from the government while they're learning.
So you almost see Fairfield as like a foundation ground for migrants to come to Sydney or Australia, for them to build the skills to, make a difference in Australia.
Absolutely, I do. Fairfield has been playing this role for many, many years. We are very successful in recruiting and building capacity to people on how to become successful Australian citizens in the future.
And last question for the Australians out there. What do you want them to know about the truth of Fairfield?
I would like the people to know that Fairfield is a wonderful area. The people in Fairfield are friendly, and sooner or later they will become active citizens. They will contribute to the economy, to the social composition of this wonderful nation.
It seems like Fairfield is a place for migrants to settle down and learn about how to live in this country. But does this also mean that opportunities are taken away from pre-existing Australian locals? To find out these answers, I spoke to Kai Cruz, a Sydney-based migration consultant.
What are your thoughts on Australians feeling like they are not taken care of by the government, whereas they feel that migrants are taken better care of?
I beg to disagree. Part of the requirement to nominate skilled worker from overseas is to make sure that this job is available to locals first. The whole Australia needs 500,000 workers right now. And for migrants coming in, we're looking at 150,000. So there's still like 350,000 available spots for Australians. So I don't think migrants are actually helping solve the labor shortage of Australia. Maybe just start looking at the job sites, because like what I said, there's 500,000 work needed. So if you are looking for a job, go on to the job ads. Stop blaming other people, stop blaming other nationalities, because your situation is based on the choices you make. I don't see the point why they're being singled out, because they come here normally to seek protection from Australia because in real danger. I think racism is just being ignorant and trying to blame others that they're different from us. Come on, Australia is multicultural.
Kai certainly raised some interesting points. Are Australians downright lazy and racist? Or is there a real reason of concern for the unequal distribution of support? I went to meet up with Fairfield Mayor Frank Carbone to see what he is doing to help combat these issues in the community.
What are your thoughts on the reasoning behind why Fairfield is known as one of Sydney's most lower socioeconomic areas?
Well, Fairfield's always been a settlement city. It's always been a place where people have come from many different places from around the world. It's always given people opportunity. It's given them a first start in this country. And it's done a wonderful job for this country, and sometimes that gets forgotten. But Fairfield is one of those places that really provides migrants a transition to be able to have a better life.
What are your thoughts on Australians that kind of, have a bit of resentment towards the migrants around here?
Well, I think as Australians, we've all migrated here at some point or another. I think the resentment comes because the state and federal government have not put the resources into Fairfield. That's really clear. We're not against migration. We welcome migrants. This country was built on the back of migrants. But if you want to put too many migrants in one place, you need to put the resources. We can't allow to have families to go without food on the table, where they can't even pay for the rent or they can't buy a home. These are the Australian dreams, and state and federal government need to start looking after Western Sydney.
And last question, Frank, what do you want viewers out there to know about migrants and what they bring to society that maybe they don't know about?
Well, first of all, my mum and dad, they were a migrant. They came here with very little but a suitcase. They came here for a better life. They worked very hard, and not only did they make a better life for themselves, but they made a better life for people that live in this country. They worked their backsides off to make sure that their children had a better future, and it's the migrants that have built this nation.
Very nice. Nice to meet you, Frank. Thanks
Pleasure.
so much.
Thank you.
Australia as a country has opened its arms to many people seeking refuge from all over the world. So I met up with a friend of mine named Chris, who moved to Australia as a refugee to escape war and violence after seeing many of his own family members hanged to death in a public execution.
So why did you come to Australia?
Well, it's a long story. Basically, my family lived in Iraq. What the regime of Saddam Hussein did is that he used to split families, so he used to kick half of the family off to another country. So my mum and her sisters and my grandfather, they got kicked out to Iran. My dad, on the other hand, he used to hang around with my cousin. My cousin got hanged, his brother got hanged as well, and that was in front of the family.
In front of the family?
Yeah. Saddam Hussein did those kind of crimes is to scare people. You know, if you're going to go against the government, this is what's going to happen. Your kids, your family, wherever, they're going to be killed in front of you. After that, my dad basically ran away. He was hiding. My dad was only 17. So my dad lost complete contact with the family. He didn't see him for 25 years. So after Saddam Hussein got hanged and got killed, his family put a picture of my dad on TV looking for this person. They didn't know if he was dead or alive. And my dad basically spoke to them first time on live TV, and then he went overseas and seen him after 25 years.
And then how did you sort of come in the picture?
When we became refugees in Pakistan, there was a waiting list. You wait up to see what country will take in refugees, and Australia was one of them. And we came here on the 8th of the 10th, 1999.
Wow. And would you say you're grateful for Australia to take you guys in?
Look, of course we're grateful. The things that Australia provided for us, the things that Australia did for us, we're very grateful for it, yeah.
What do you say to Australians that say there are too many migrants in this country?
Look, Australia is all migrants. For them to say there's too many immigrants here, well, immigrants are the one that built this country. The Arabs came in, the Greeks came in, the Italians came in. And honestly, if you want all the immigrants to leave, what food would you eat? What do you guys have? No kebabs, no sushi. No, you get what I mean?
Crickets and grasshoppers, I think.
Yeah, well, there's nothing. So immigrants is what made Australia. All Australians are immigrant, and we all proudly call ourselves Australians, so yeah.
Thank you, bro.